Everyone, I'm Ashley Bullington and you're watching the fifth quarter. It's our Friday night wrap-up show where we bring you all the things happening around the greater Houston area for high school sports, and basketball is about to go into the second time where districts are playing the teams in their district. And we've got some great stuff coming up for you. Up first, our Inside High School Sports Insider, Matt Harris. Matt, we are through the first round of these teams playing against each other in their districts, moving into the second time around where these teams are playing each other. What are some of the districts and district matchups that you're looking forward to seeing the second time around?
I feel like you almost know what you already know what I'm going to say here. 15-6A, of course. Every pretty much game in that district for the most part has been close this year. I'm interested to see if Klein Forest can win that district again. And then obviously another district we've talked a lot about this year is 19-6A, where a lot of the games in that district have been close. Last Tuesday, Morton Ranch wins by 8, Katy wins by 2, Cinco Ranch wins by 8. So you've got a lot of close games in that district, and those are two that I'm going to really be keeping an eye on every week. But in terms of just other districts to watch in terms of matchups, you've got 22-6A, where seemingly that district is going to come down to Summer Creek and Atascocita round 2. Summer Creek won the first matchup at Atascocita. So if Atascocita, who's ranked 7th in the state at this point, if they want to win 22-6A, they're going to have to go to Summer Creek and win. And I'm not totally sure how tiebreakers are determined for that district, but to even have a shot, they're going to have to go on the road and beat Summer Creek and remain perfect through the rest of that district schedule, and maybe hope that Summer Creek slips up somewhere. And then again in 21-6A, you've got number 8 Beaumont United and number 9 North Shore. Beaumont United won the first time around, so I'm interested to see that as well. And then in 5A, we've got the District of Dumanoy, 24-5A, where you've got number 2 Shadow Creek, number 3 Hightower. They've been ranked 2 and 3 pretty much the entire season. Shadow Creek won that first matchup at home. They'll have to go to Hightower, and Hightower's, at least got that home court advantage that second time around in terms of having a shot to win that district.
Most definitely. I mean, it's going to be so interesting to see these districts and how they end up. Some really close matchups happen in that first time around. But the next question I have for you, and I think this is the biggest question, we can probably talk about this for a few minutes, the state ranked teams. Who do you see out of those state ranked teams making those runs to San Antonio, or do you see any dark horses moving in here at the last minute?
So just to start off with 5A, since we just kind of left off with that, again, 24-5A, you've got number 2 Shadow Creek, number 3 Hightower, number 21 Manville, and then Foster and Fort Bend Marshall have had great seasons as well. So you've got a lot of action in that district. Obviously, Shadow Creek and Hightower are clear-cut number 1 and 2 in that district. They're both in the top 3 in the state. And I think Shadow Creek's really going to come out and play with a vengeance in the 5A state playoffs after being really, really good a year ago and being state ranked all year. And then they got bounced in the second round. So I expect them to come out with a lot of fire in the playoffs and be the prohibitive favorite to win state out of the Houston area. And Houston does not have quite as much talent in 5A as does Houston in 6A. So I would definitely look for deep runs from Shadow Creek, maybe Hightower, but I think, they're going to wind up running into each other and knocking the other out of the playoffs eventually. So I would take Shadow Creek as a solid bet in 5A. And 6A's got a lot of interesting teams because I think a lot of teams at the top are in DFW, but you've got number 2 Dickinson, you've got number 3 Summer Creek, number 7 Atascocita, 8 Beaumont United, 9 North Shore, number 15 Morton Ranch, and number 21 Spring Westfield. So all those teams are good options in a way. I'm not totally sure how the playoffs work in terms of who goes Division 2, who's Region 2 and Region 3. Region 3 is going to be pretty much all Houston teams. Region 2 will be split between Austin and Little DFW, Little Austin, and also Houston. So the way Houston gets 2 teams to state is by having or winner in Region 2 and Region 3. I don't know if Houston will win Region 2, and I don't know the teams in Region 2. But Region 3, you've got a lot of solid options, obviously, with, Dickinson and Summer Creek and Atascocita. So, as I mentioned in that last segment, Summer Creek and Atascocita is going to be a great round two of district matchup. And that could tell us a lot about the state picture. I mean, if Summer Creek can really go out and pick up another big win, I believe they beat them by 8 on the road the first time around. If they can go pick up a big win at home, and especially if they do it by double digits, you start thinking of Summer Creek up there in that Dickinson, echelon of, this is a team that can make it to state. This is a team that could beat Dickinson, because I think, Dickinson is head and shoulders above the rest of the Houston area at this point in time.
Most definitely. The other race that we've been watching is that 4A race to state, and we've got two teams in the top 20-25 of the state in Houston, with Yates, who is still on their way to trying to break a national record, as well as Stafford, who is undefeated in district as they beat Full Shear. We have their coach coming on with us in the next segment. But what about that 4A race and those two Houston teams trying to make a run for it?
Yeah, Yates made it all the way to state last year. I believe they lost to Faith Family. But the 100-point streak is still alive. They scored exactly 100 on the nose on Tuesday, beating Fur 100-31. And that's a game you kind of look at where, did they need to score 100? I mean, you won by almost 70 points. Did you need to score 100? No, but it's cool to keep the streak alive. So they're still chugging along, and really are going to be the prohibitive favorites from Houston to make it back to San Antonio for the state championships. And then, as you mentioned, Stafford is undefeated so far in 25 4A in a good district. I mean, you look at the district last Tuesday, Needville beat El Campo 53-43, Wharton beat Royal 55-54, and Stafford beats Full Shear 55-50. So that's 3. I mean, Needville won by 10. That's a little bit of a margin, but a lot of close games in that district. And the fact that Stafford's still undefeated at this point is pretty impressive.
Matt, thank you once again for coming on the fifth quarter with us and breaking down those districts. Up next, we talk to the Stafford boys head coach as he talks about his team going through district.
Don't forget to catch our extended coverage of the high school football season each week on The Warm-Up, presented by your local Houston area Geico agents. We will get you ready for all the action this Thursday on all our social media outlets.
And we're back with the fifth quarter. Stafford is ranked in first place in their district and undefeated after they won against Full Shear. The number 20 team in 4A is looking to make a deep playoff run, and we caught up with head coach Montano after their game Tuesday.
What do you think were the keys to tonight's win?
Well, I think we played pretty well defensively. We had some lapses here and there, but we stress defense more so than offense, because that's what we try to, staple ourselves as a defensive team, which leads to easy points on offense. That was the best thing that we did tonight, was play defense, and we should have rebounded better, but we did well enough to win the ball game.
How do you think this win affects the district race coming down the stretch?
Well, Fulshear's an excellent team. They're really good, probably the best team in the district. We just happened to have some fortunate, we got some luck here and there, but I think it propels us to the starting the second part of the district to continue this process. Keep on growing and hopefully peak at the right time.
How far do you think this team can ultimately go this season?
I tell my team that we have a good enough team to get to the regional tournament, and once you get to the regional tournament, anything can happen there. I believe if we continue to grow and play the way we're doing, we'll get to the regional tournament, and perhaps we're trying to get to the ultimate goal being at the state tournament.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. Up next, we have the producer of Chevrolet's Inside High School Sports, Robert Shiekh, on with us.
Watch Inside High School Sports to catch this week's Chevy Spotlight, brought to you by your Houston area Chevy dealers. Visit your nearest Chevy dealer to test drive their award-winning products.
Chevrolet's Inside High School Sports airs on KHU 11 at 11 p.m. Saturday night. And we have producer Robert Shiekh to talk to you about what you'll be seeing on the show. Robert, another big week of Texas high school hoops down here in Houston. What's coming up on Chevrolet's Inside High School Sports tomorrow?
Yeah, well, if it wasn't going to be our game of the week already, it definitely would have been switched in the old producers rundown to game of the week. Fantastic ball game tonight between Katie Tompkins and Morton Ranch, and Morton Ranch pulls it out, game-winning three at the end of the game by, and I'm gonna struggle with his name, so my apologies. Kiwat Way, I believe is how you pronounce it. Game-winning three with less than 5 seconds remaining for Morton Ranch, and the Mavs remain perfect in district play, 73-72 over Tompkins. And, that's kind of a big game from it's almost symbolic too, because Tompkins, had been this team kind of come out of nowhere in KDISD a couple of years ago, and really for about a 2-year run was the best program in that district, and was almost the best program in the state 2 years ago, going all the way to the state final and losing at the end in a heartbreaker. Well, now, and Morton Ranch lost Tompkins lost a few Division I players off that team. Well, now it's Morton Ranch that has a few Division I players and has really kind of been the top dog in KDISD the last couple of years. And this year, the Mavs have just been kind of rolling through the district. And then tonight, get their toughest test of the year, but go into Tompkins and pull it out 73-72. So impressive performance. LJ Cryer, 24 points, 10 assists, a double-double. That's almost like a low output for him, the way we're so used to seeing him score. But the 10 assists tonight tells me, he was willing to do whatever it took for his team to get the win, and that's what happened. Big win for Morton Ranch. And it sounds like a great ball game out there in Katy. Some other interesting matchups tonight. Bel Air had been perfect in district play in HISD in 18-6A, but Sam Houston tonight, who might have been the favorite at the beginning of the season, at least for a lot of people, but Sam Houston had lost a few games early on in district play, but the Tigers bounced back tonight and get a big 54-45 win over Bel Air.
Sounds like some really good games on tap tonight. What else will we be seeing on the show from Tuesday's games as well as everything else?
In another interesting matchup tonight, Fort Bend Hightower took care of Foster 81-65. We'll have highlights of that one. North Shore ranked 9th in the state. We hadn't seen the Mustangs yet this year on the show. That's kind of an interesting district because it's split a little bit between the Houston area and the Beaumont area. But North Shore takes care of business tonight. Easy win over CE King for the Mustangs. Speaking of another team just taking care of business, top ranked Yates in Class 4A. Yates is, just continues to demolish competition, and it was the 12th straight game on Wednesday night that Yates has scored 100 points. They're going for the national record, which is 15. So we'll see if the Lions can get there. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know when or how that is tracked. I don't know how, when that record was set of 15 or who set it or where, but I know Yates has that as a goal. To score 100 points in 16 straight games. So we'll keep an eye on that. Another interesting game in 4A from Tuesday night, and I believe you touched on it earlier, Stafford and Fulshire. Both of those programs stayed ranked in Class 4A, and Stafford sweeps the season series with Fulshire. So Stafford in great shape. The Spartans are to win that district title. Big win for Stafford, excuse me. Another big win on Tuesday night for the Klein Bearcats, who continue to lead that kind of wild District 15-6A, and a big win over the Woodlands, and Klein just keeps on cruising, and that's a very crowded level playing field in that district. We did see a team last year from that district play for a state title as Klein Forest went all the way to state. So who knows? Maybe Klein can replicate some of that magic this year. I know that the big Klein Forest game is coming up in the next week or two, and you can probably expect to see highlights of that one as well. And then let's see. I don't want to forget this one. Texas City over Friendswood on Tuesday night. Game-winning three-pointer at the buzzer by Caden McKenzie. We'll have highlights of that. You won't want to miss that. So a couple of last-second wins, last-second game-winning shots on the show this week. So that'll definitely be worth tuning in for. Don't want to forget the girls. We have girls highlights from Cinco Ranch and Katie Tompkins from Tuesday night. Katie Tompkins is, doing what the Tompkins boys did in that district a couple of years ago. The Tompkins girls are looking like they're capable of running the table in that district. And, that's a team that I don't know that was on the radar to do big things necessarily at the beginning of the year, but the Lady Falcons just keep winning ball games right now, and they've climbed into the state rankings, the state top 25 rankings. They're ranked 24th in the state, and there's no reason to think they can't continue to move up. So impressive job by them, and it's an exciting show with a lot of basketball highlights this week, that's for sure.
Thank you again, Robert. We have a jam-packed show for you on Chevrolet's Inside High School Sports. And once again, it airs Saturday at 11 p.m. on KHU 11. Until then, I'm Ashley Bullington, and thank you so much for watching the fifth quarter.